The knock on the heavy glass door came timidly at first, almost like the wind had brushed against it. Inside the towering marble lobby of one of the city's biggest corporations, people rarely came without appointments, especially not at 11 p.m. The night security guard had already begun locking up when the sound came again, firmer this time. He turned, frowned, and through the glass saw a little girl, no more than 7, drenched in rain, clutching something in her small, trembling hands. Her face was pale, her lips quivering, and her eyes, those tear-filled eyes, held a kind of pain that could pierce through stone. When the door opened, her soft voice broke through the silence like a fragile whisper. "Pleasen, I need to see Mr. Ethan Gray, my mom. She's dying." The security guard froze, unsure what to do, but the little girl walked past him with a strength that seemed far beyond her years. Upstairs, in the topmost office where lights still burned, Ethan Gray, the millionaire CEO of Gray Tech, sat alone behind his desk, surrounded by silence and empty success. He had built an empire from nothing, yet every night he returned to a penthouse filled with nothing but echoes. Work had replaced warmth, ambition had stolen his peace, and the world called him ruthless. For they didn't know that he once had a heart that cared. They didn't know what he had lost long ago. As the elevator opened and the girl stepped out, her small shoes leaving wet prints on the marble, Ethan looked up in irritation, until he saw her face. The pen dropped from his hand. Her eyes, those familiar eyes, it couldn't be. "Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your small act helps stories like this reach hearts that need healing." Ethan rose slowly, his breath catching in his throat as the girl held out a crumpled photo. "You're Ethan Gray, right?" she asked, her voice trembling. He nodded numbly. She unfolded the picture with shaking fingers. It was old, creased, water-stained, but he recognized it instantly. A younger Ethan stood beside a smiling woman, sunlight dancing in her eyes, her hand resting gently on his chest. It was Anna, his first love, the woman he had promised to forever to, before ambition had lured him away and life had taught them how distance can kill love silently. The little girl continued, "They hurt my mom. She's in the hospital. The doctors said she needs surgery tonight, but we don't have any money. I found your picture in her box. She said you once cared about her. Please, please save my mom." Her voice cracked at the last word. Ethan's world stopped. Anna, dying. He hadn't seen her in 8 years. Not since that night she told him she couldn't wait any more for a man who loved his company more than her. He remembered her tears, the sound of rain, the way she walked away with their unborn child he never knew existed. The realization hit him like lightning. This child, this innocent little girl, was his daughter. He sank into his chair, gripping the edge as his heart raced. The cold, calculated CEO inside him dissolved. Without a second thought, he grabbed his coat keys and wallet, and said only one thing to the child, "Let's go." The drive to the hospital felt endless. The girl, Lily as he soon learned, sat silently beside him, hugging a worn teddy bear, her eyes fixed on the window as city lights blurred past. Ethan's thoughts spiraled into guilt and memories. Every missed year, every lonely night that Anna must have endured, every birthday he didn't know about. The empire he'd built now felt like ashes in his hands. When they arrived, the hospital's faint smell of antiseptic hit him hard. Nurses rushed around, machines beeped in urgency, and Lily led him to the emergency ward. There, behind a curtain, lay Anna, pale, fragile, barely breathing. A bruised mark on her forehead, dried blood at her temple. Ethan's heart shattered. The nurse explained in hushed tones that she'd been attacked by her landlord after falling behind on rent. She had suffered internal injuries and needed immediate surgery. Costly, urgent, and impossible for someone without insurance. Without hesitation, Ethan ordered the best doctors, paid double for the operation, and refused to leave her side. As she was wheeled into surgery, he sat in the corridor beside Lily, feeling more helpless than he ever had. The clock ticked endlessly, and for the first time in years, tears fell down his face. Hours passed. The surgery lights flickered off. The doctor approached, removing his mask. "She's stable for now," he said softly, "but she needs rest and long-term care. The trauma was severe. She's lucky someone brought her in when they did." Ethan could barely whisper, "Thank you." Days went by. Ethan moved Anna into a private room, hired nurses, and made sure Lily had everything she needed. But every time he saw the little girl smile or draw pictures by her mother's bedside, his guilt grew heavier. When Anna finally opened her eyes, weak but alive, their gazes met for the first time in almost a decade. She looked at him, confused, hurt, yet still with that quiet grace he remembered. "Why are you here, Ethan?" she whispered. He knelt beside her, his voice breaking. "Because I should have never left. Because I didn't know about her, about Lily. I thought I was building a life, but I was just running from the only thing that ever made life worth living. You." Her eyes filled with tears. "It doesn't matter anymore," she said softly. "What's done is done. Just take care of Lily if I can't." He gripped her hand tightly. "No, you're going to live. I won't lose you again." Over the next few weeks, Ethan stayed by her side every single day. He didn't attend board meetings. He didn't check his phone. For the first time, the world of power, money, and fame meant nothing. Instead, he learned how to braid Lily's hair, how to make her laugh, and how to just sit quietly, holding Anna's hand as she healed. Slowly, she began to recover, not just her health, but a small piece of hope. One evening, as golden sunlight streamed through the hospital window, Anna looked at him and said, "You've changed." Ethan smiled faintly. "Maybe I finally remembered what being human feels like." He spent the following months ensuring she and Lily never worried again. He paid off their debts, bought them a beautiful home, and visited daily. Eventually, when Anna was strong enough to walk again, he invited them both to his office, the same place where this story began. But this time, instead of the cold marble emptiness, the room was filled with laughter. Lily ran around, her drawings taped on the walls, and Anna stood beside him, smiling at the life they never thought they'd reclaim. Ethan looked at them and realized that success was never about numbers or headlines. It was about hearts, about second chances, about the love you fight for even when it seems too late. Months later, the world saw a different CEO. Ethan Gray transformed his billion-dollar company into a foundation for women and children in crisis, dedicated to helping those who had nowhere else to turn. And every time he spoke to the press, he mentioned one thing: sometimes it takes losing everything to realize what truly matters. Sometimes an unexpected knock can save your soul. That night, long after everyone had gone to sleep, he tucked Lily into bed, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "I'm never leaving again." Then he walked to the living room, where Anna waited with a cup of tea, her eyes soft and full of peace. And in that quiet, warm moment, the man who once had everything finally felt complete. Not because of what he owned, but because of who he'd found again. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and comment below. It helps others see that love, kindness, and forgiveness still exist in this world. Subscribe for more stories that remind us all, it's never too late for a second chance.